Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
Greetings and salutations. So we're back to talking about episodes of TNG. In this case, The Next Generation. In this case, we're looking at the episodes Ethics and the episode The Outcast. What actually happened in the episode Ethics? Well, in the episode, after an accident leaves Worf paralyzed, his only hope may be a visiting doctor with questionable medical ethics. I actually thought this episode was pretty good. I mean, that's what I can say. I thought it was pretty good in the fact that we have, like, say, two, subplots, main plots of it. In that, like, the perspective of Worf and the fact, he's back to gets paralyzed, so he can't move. Basically, his Klingon heritage is saying, you have been hurt, you've been damaged, you need to take the warrior's way out. And everyone is, even Riker's just saying, hey, dude, you can get through this.
I'm not gonna make it that easy for you.
It is not easy for me. But each of us must die in our own time, and my time...
Remember Sandoval? Hit with a disruptor blast 2 years ago? She lived for about a week. Fang Lee, Marla Astor, Tasha Yar. How many men and women, how many friends have we watched die? I've lost count.
It can get better. And yes, I can understand that, in some cultures, like, there's a perspective like, say, hey, like a religious perspective like, say, hey, if one gets hurt, then, or like, after having a humongous, accidents, like, your whole entire life changes. But, like, I kind of feel like, say, Worf is, like, he had two options, like, he was totally wanting to take the option of going out. And yes, I kind of thought, like, say, whenever we have the moments between Worf and Alexander, those moments are great in this episode. And, like, say, the other perspective is a doctor, Dr. Russell, and, like, say, her headbutting against, Dr. Crusher. Basically, them, basically to the doctor here and say, hey, your perspective on medicine, on curing of folks, is based on hypothesis and all that. And yes, like, say, like, I'm not a medical examiner. I don't have the knowledge to just say, if someone told me, open this dude up, take his brain out, fix whatever's going on in there. What are you telling me? Are you want me to do something like, say, like, are you trying to say you want me to do it, and like the folks in recent Saw did? No! If, like, say someone had asked me to do that, I would want to make sure, like, say someone is well qualified to do their job if they are in the medical field. And if they have the expertise to do what they need to do, then yeah. And yes, I think this episode was pretty great with the relationships between Worf and his son Alexander. I kind of thought this episode was pretty good.
I would appreciate some help from my son. We will work together.
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, I kind of liked it. Let's look at the next episode, Outcast. In this episode, Riker falls in love with Soreen, a member of an androgynous race which finds gender specifically unacceptable. Basically, I think the whole idea of this episode is, like looking at a microscope on folks in the LGBT community who don't really follow a perspective, society's view on gender.
We are puzzling to you, aren't we?
A little. It's hard to grasp the idea of no gender.
It is just as hard for us to understand the strange division in your species. Males and females. You are male.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about males. What is it makes you different from females?
And, in the entire time I thought, okay, this episode is great in the fact that it's willing to take a perspective on a topic. I mean, heck, there was, one episode that was going to be an episode of TNG, but it got canned, and eventually got turned into an episode of the fan series of Star Trek, and which was basic perspective on the AIDS epidemic at the time. And I thought that this idea of all the perspectives, thinking of Soreen being who is androgynous and in a way trying to say, hey, I'm a woman, I've always felt this way, and all that, blah, 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 blah. I thought it was done very respectfully. I do think, when she has her giant, humongous trial against her, when she's having her speech, my God, that was good.
We have not injured you in any way. And yet we are scorned and attacked. And all because we are different. What we do is no different from what you do. We talk and laugh. We talk about our families, and we worry about the future.
Great. But when, I will say this, when it goes to the part when it's having, she's being, having, treated, I guess, I feel like that is a response, basically it's a response to, conversion therapy. I don't know, in a way, the perspective, at the end of the episode when it's trying to say, hey, her saying, hey, this is better than the fact that says she has a sense of illness and all that. I feel like that is trying to way it's hey, we're wanting to take a side, but we're unsure of, anyway. And I think it does everything respectfully. If even Jonathan Frakes said he feels like the character of Soreen should have been played by a man, and instead, perhaps that would have been worked better if it was trying to be a story involving a trans person, perhaps.
That I was sick. I had these terrible urges, and that is why I reached out to you. But it was wrong, and I see that now. I do not understand how I could have done what I did.
Maybe Dr. Crusher could treat you and bring you back to the way you were.
Why would I want that?
I'll see you next time. I thought both of these episodes were pretty good.